Hey everybody, it's Randy from Happy Maple Nursery, and today we're just going to do some work on this Ficus microcarpa. It's a tropical tree, so we brought it in now that it's getting quite cold outside, and it's one of our older trees. It's got a nice shape, pretty standard informal upright shape. We've been working the branches down here to get our nice conical triangular shape. However, we've been looking at this for a while, and if we flip it around, we have this nice shape in here and this kind of cascading branch here. And I think what we're going to do today is actually cut this right here, turn the rest of the tree into cuttings and root those, and then start to work on this and actually pot this up as well at the same time, just to give it a lot of vigor. It's in a nice bonsai pot right now. The angle kind of changed over the course of the summer as it settled in. However, do something like that, and you can see we have our canonical shape. It's nice, but it's kind of boring, and I think for the long term of the tree, you want to make some hard decisions now to improve them for the future. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to crop it right here, take some cuttings, and up pot this bottom portion so it really gets some vigor and grows strong, and then we'll try to work on these branches and make them in a cascade type shape. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and dewire some of the old wires that are on here, and then work on our chop. So here goes. We're going to make our first cut just along the top here. It's going to be a pretty big cut. Actually, we'll save this for cuttings, which we'll work with in a second. And then we're also going to cut this off here. This will be a second cutting. And that's it. So we'll leave a little bit of a stub on the side here. That'll die back hopefully, and we can clean that up. Same with this will die back and we'll clean it up. And this will be the shape of our new tree. I think it'll be a much more interesting shape. And so we'll deal with the top. All the interesting cuttings that we can make out of this. I see at least a couple trees that we can start. This little branch here that will also root. Ficus microcarpa are incredibly easy to root cuttings. Try to do it primarily what we grow these days so fast. We grow a lot of other native trees, but they're just so much slower. So what we actually have for sale these days is ficus trees. They're quite fun, really great to learn on. So we've sealed that up with a bit of artificial bark, just black balsam wound sealant here, just to kind of close that up. And you can also spritz these wounds of the ficus with water. It'll stop the rubber, which is an irritant, by the way, so be careful where that gets. It'll actually stop it from bleeding out. So now that that's done, we are going to move on to the next step, which is repotting this and letting it gain some vigor. So we're just going to cut off the tie-down wires here. The drainage screen. And so this gives us a great time to take a look at the roots as well. As I said, get those out of the way. Ficus are super robust, so what happens is they get these really big roots, and typically for bonsai you don't want really large roots. You can see one starting there. Also this aerial root that grow down, we're trying to encourage to grow as well. Probably that one. It was quite thin if I recall. And so we'll just prep the roots gently. work on getting a flat root base, but we're going to put this in a nursery can, so we're going to lose it all anyway. We'll have to come back, but that's part of the game. So, big root here we're going to remove. Big circling root here we're going to trim back. This one as well. Give it a quick haircut. Now be careful doing this with your really good scissors. It can cause them to get dull. These are just cheapies, so we're not too worried. Alright, we got a few crossing roots in here, so we're going to look to address those. First, by just trimming up the bottom, anything that's sticking out. Anything that's obviously cutting across the tree, we're going to remove as well. Just do this facing the camera. Trying to get a nice angle. So we've got a big root here. I might leave it for now. This one's crossing, so we're going to remove that. It's coming out here, so we're going to remove that. And don't be scared to cut with ficus. They are incredibly robust. We're just looking for any roots that are going in the wrong direction. We're going to be quite hard on these. They can basically act as cuttings once again. So I think one of the only ways to kill ficus is to actually let them go dry. So there's some weirdness going on here. Big roots. That away. So there's a big root there and not a lot going on here, so I'll have to address that as things develop. I kind of want to see what's happening in here. There's a big root there. Okay. So cut that away. Another big root there we've removed. Big chunk of a root there we'll take out. And otherwise I think we're mostly going to leave it the way it is. See a few crossing roots here that I'm just going to take out. Leftover chunk of that big root, just clean it up. Okay. So I think that's as much as we want to take off today. There's a few roots here that could maybe be cut because they're coming across, if we're going to be really picky. I think that's pretty good. So next thing is we're going to pot this up into a large nursery can. I think a number 2 gallon, and we'll just anchor this guy in and let him grow. So we're going to lose probably a lot of this roots. Things are going to get quite vigorous, but that's okay. We'll come back, and I think our planting angle is something like that. It's a cool little arch, so it kind of doubles back on itself, and we'll keep letting that develop. So for our next step here, we're just working in our garage, just because this can get messy. And so we're just going to position the tree something like that. And what we've prepped here is just some perlite, turfus, and compost. And so it's about, I think, 50 to 60% compost. These plants like a lot of organic matter. They do best in that. And the rest is inorganic material, being perlite, turfus. There might even be some lava rock in there, just to allow a bit of drainage. But these guys do really well in a high organic matter material. And so we're just going to try to pack that tree, kind of hold it in place. We're not going to tie this in. It should hopefully root relatively soon. And we're going to put the medium up quite high for now. We're going to lose a lot of our root base, but that's okay. It's a ficus, we can easily grow this back. We're not overly concerned. We're looking to really get some strong vigor and allow this plant to really grow strong, thicken the base, make this into a more interesting tree. Right now it's got an okay trunk line. Main trunk has got a decent girth, but we want to up that diameter. And so this is the way to do it. So that's it. We'll water that from the bottom, and this part is done. We'll show you the next part where we actually stick the cuttings. We're going to make a few trims to make some future trees. So the next step of this is propagating what we cut off, since this is pretty interesting, has some pretty interesting shapes in it, and we like to grow these out. We offer them to our customers as starting trees, and that's somehow we're starting our business. So these are trays that we've just had with a humidity dome to keep them wet in some really organic medium. These are cuttings we took a while ago. You can see some are doing better than others. They're dropping a few leaves, but that's okay. Most of these should take. And so what we're going to do is just take these and stick them in here. So we're just shoving them into the wet, very organic based material, and they should root pretty quick. Some of these plants, like you could almost stick that whole thing, but this is a really low branch, so I think what we're going to do is maybe take that off as an independent cutting. Just going to cut that down there at the bottom, if you can see. And so we'll stick that as a cutting. These in the future may also have some parts of them cut off as well. Like this cutting here I might remove just to clean it up. Just trying to see what would make a nice tree here. I think we'll cut this one more time here. Somewhere around here. And then maybe we can use this. It's going to be kind of awkward because there's a bit of dead wood there. So you may not get rooting out of that area. But you know what? It should heal over, and we'll just stick it the way it is. And we'll see how it goes. And we end up this piece here, which we may ultimately end up taking these off, but for now, and in fact, maybe I'll do that. this off because it's kind of big. Take this off. So you end up with something like that. And we'll make this flat. Put there. And so you end up with a nice little tree like that. Something to start with. Ficus grow incredibly fast, so you can really develop them quickly, which is nice. Then we're left with this. Kind of awkward. We'll maybe take this off here and do something with that. Just sticking all these. Make sure the medium's up around them. They'll almost make roots in nothing if kept moist enough. But that's pretty much it. There's our tray of cuttings. Got a bunch of cuttings on there. And we'll just leave those. They should root pretty quick, probably within a month to 2 months. Even faster if you were to put some bottom heat on them, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to leave them like this, and we'll just throw the humidity dome back on them. And that'll be it. We'll clean up our mess here, and we're done deal. And so we'll update you on how this tree is doing. Make sure we get all these cuttings tucked in here. They're a little unruly. And that's it. So that'll stay nice and moist in there. We'll get some cuttings, and then we'll update on this guy on how it's doing over time. Hopefully, ultimately making a nicer bonsai. If you have any comments, let us know. Questions, comments, and like and subscribe, and we'll keep putting these out. All right, take care.